Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on Feature Friday. Hi, I'm Jackie Kwan, co-founder of Uplifter, and today joining me as well is Garrett Trott, our product expert. How are you doing today, Garrett?
Hi, Jackie. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited because we're talking about discount codes and discounts, and it's one of those things that we've we have very robustly developed within Uplifter, and have had lots of clubs ask us for various different um, variations of how to set up discounts, and you're going to walk us through one
At
of the
least one of
options,
them.
at least one of the options, right?
Just one. You guys get
Just
just
one.
one.
Okay.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yes, today we're going to be looking at discount codes, and these are essentially codes that your end user can enter in order to receive a discount. These are a great way to incentivize, prioritize all of the I's, whatever you need to do. And this will be a great way, or there's a lot of different ways that you can introduce this into your system, of course. We're going to be looking at a very specific manner in order to do this, but we'll also talk about some of the variations along the way, and we'll, of course, build this from the ground up together. So let's take a look at an example of what we're going to be building together. Today we have the summer rugby team here, and if you want to join the rugby team, you can use the discount code SCRUM20 for 20% off. So I'm going to select to register. I'm going to throw whomever I'd like into register there. Amber's going to start playing some rugby. And when we get to our cart, we will see a discount code field. And should I choose to, I can enter in Scrum20. And when I click out of this field, we'll see this 519 total get discounted by 20% down to 415.20 for us. And of course, we can proceed from there. So let's work together and actually build this together. To begin, first and foremost, of course, we need to build our program. Now, there's nothing special about this program, so we're going to just fly over this, and we won't dive into this. There's nothing special about the program. It's prorated, which is why it's not $1,000 on the checkout here. But other than that, nothing unique or special about that. So what is unique and special is our custom field. Now, this is available through Settings, Global Settings, under the Custom Fields tab. And if you've joined us for other videos, you may be sick about hearing about these, but this is an important element to our setup here. So on the left-hand side here, you can see that we have these field variations. Now for this checkout field option, this discount field, we're going to want to use either the invoice field or the invoice item field. Now, the option that we do use is going to depend on when we want the field, or sorry, where we want the field to show up. In our particular instance, during this checkout process, it's my personal preference to have it show up at the bottom of the invoice, and so they can see everything that they've purchased up top and then enter in a discount code below. That would be utilizing the invoice field. That always shows up at the bottom of the invoice. If we wanted the discount code to show up more in line with a specific product, we could then utilize the invoice item fields, which would then instead show the discount code field directly in line with the product or the program that you're selling that you've tagged for that discount code. Now, when it comes to the discount code feature, generally speaking, most users are more accustomed to the field being down at the bottom, especially if you do any online shopping and stuff like that. There'll only be that one field there, and it's usually at the bottom of the invoice. So for that, we're going to use the invoice fields here. To begin, I'm just going to select to add an invoice field, and when I do, I can then generate the field that I'd like. I'm going to select to edit this one that we've already created. You'll see the same form information here, except it will look like this. And here I entered a name, had a little bit of help text here, and that's all I've done for the immediately available fields. I haven't linked it to anything special. I always want the field to show. Now, if you did want this discount field to only display when certain items are being purchased, you can absolutely do that. So maybe I don't want to confuse users or sort of imply that there's a discount code available for maybe my baseball or my basketball. So what I can do then is say, only show this field when someone's buying rugby. And so that way, this field down at the bottom here, it'll only display when someone's buying rugby, and they won't sort of infer that there was a discount code that they're missing out on. But we're going to leave that blank so it shows up at all times, and we're going to choose the freeform text field as our field type. Now, there are some other variations that may function for your purpose, specifically the whole numbers option, but end users, when they're entering in data, generally speaking, they're, they might be a little clumsy on the keyboard. So freeform text is usually a little bit better of an option for you. And that also gives you the availability to use letters, special characters, things like that, and not just numbers. From here, we can specify a minimum maximum length. I would not recommend this unless you absolutely need it. By adding restrictions of this nature, you can introduce some confusion for your end users. So leaving these blank is often the best option. Allowing multiple values to be stored, we're going to set this to no. We only want them to use one discount code at any given time. And required is also a no, because we don't want them to have to absolutely enter in something for the discount code. And last but not least, unique in this particular instance is going to be set to no. Now, this is because we're using one code for everybody. Everyone's using Scrum 20. But there may be instances where you want to introduce unique codes that people use on a one-to-one basis. So, Jane's got ABC and John's got EFG. In that instance, you would want to say yes to this, but we're going to look at how to introduce these codes in just a moment, and that may sort of steer you away from that use case, but we'll talk about that when we reach that moment. So right now, for now though, however, we're going to set this to unique no. So now that we're happy with that, we're going to click OK. And with any time that you're going to be using custom fields, please also be sure to click Save All down in the bottom left-hand corner here. Once you have your field set up, you're ready to move on to the real core element here, which is going to be the discount. Discounts are available through products and programs discounts, and you can select to add a new. Right now, we're going to edit the existing one, but the form, again, is going to be very, very similar. We're going to enter in a name, and we don't necessarily need a date range here, so I haven't specified one. But if you did want to introduce the codes only working within a specific date range, you can absolutely do that. And next, we have a usage limit of unlimited use by all members. For my particular use case, that's how I want this to function. But as you can see, you can also limit the number of global uses. So it's a first come, first serve sort of use. And this is actually a great way to sort of incentivize early birds and say, if you want to use this early bird code of early bird 10 or whatever, you can, but it's only the first 100 people or only the first 50 people or what have you. And that's a great way to sort of get people excited and pumped up to register. And next here, we're going to skip over the benefits really quickly. We're going to see that in the conditions section, there are no conditions to this discount. There is only one singular benefit, which we are going to recreate from scratch by selecting to add a benefit. And here we are going to utilize the option of item count discount different targets. And the reason being is we want to tell the system to look for that code. And if that code is there, then discount our rugby. In order to do this, we're going to select Add Qualifying Items. And on this listing option here, down at the bottom, we'll have items associated with a custom field value. And this is the option that we want. So when we select to enter into this, we're going to be greeted by a list of all of our custom fields, and among them, we'll see our discount code. So we can select that we're going to be utilizing this. And now what we need to do is enter in the code that we're willing to accept. So as you saw at the beginning of the session here, I'm going to empty this and go back to my home page. As you saw at the beginning of the session here, we have Scrum 20 is our code. So we can enter that into the system, Scrum 20. Now what you'll see here is that I've utilized all capitals, and that is what I've inferred here as well. But end users don't tend to take that stuff too seriously. So it may be advantageous for you to utilize a variety of options for the same input. And what I mean by that is you hit this little plus sign here, and now I can do Scrum 20 with just the one capital. And now I can also do Scrum 20 all lower letters. And by doing this, what I'm saying is I want this specific text, but I'm willing to accept different variations of the same text. They can only enter in one version of it, so it doesn't really matter what version they use. They can't apply it multiple times just because I'm entering in multiple strings, but these are the different variations on that one string that we're willing to accept. So when I'm happy with this, I'm going to click Next. Before we do that, let's double back on that element I mentioned previously, where we're supplying unique codes to each user. If you were to specify that you want everybody to have their own unique code and you're issuing these out through emails or however pamphlets, what have you, that means you have to enter in each one of these unique codes into this string list here. And so that may be a bit of a hindrance and may steer you towards not utilizing that option, as you'd have to make sure that each one of those options are listed here. And if you get into the hundreds or even the thousands, that is quite the undertaking. So having just a singular code is much more advantageous in that regard. And once you're happy with that, of course, you're going to click Next, and that brings you back to this page here. Now, what we want to do is make sure that there's only one instance. That's all we care about. Once they've entered in that one instance, we are going to give them 20% off. And this is going to apply on a per participant basis. You can actually do per invoice as well. That's totally okay. And these two items, so the prioritizing qualifying item is going to be this bottom option here. We're going to apply the discount to any item that is a target as long as the minimum and maximum qualifying items are met. And what that means is it's going to apply the discount to any item that we select here, which we haven't done just yet, but any item that we select here, which will be our rugby in just a moment. And as long as the minimum and maximum are met, so as long as they bought at least one and no more than infinite. So that's very hard to do. So we're going to apply a discount there. And then last but not least, we are going to set our target item, as I mentioned there. That's going to be our rugby. We're going to click Add Target Item. We can do specific item, but I might actually generate more rugby programs. So I'm going to utilize category levels. And I'm going to look for rugby. And there's our rugby full registration. This site and system is enabled with drop-ins as well. I don't want to utilize drop-ins for rugby, so I don't want to discount the drop-ins. I want to do the full registrations. And there we have it. That is our discount. So I'm going to click Save on this. And as with any discount, please be sure to scroll to the bottom and click Save Discount Details as well. As you can see, these two benefits are identical. So I could delete either one. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to save discount details. And as with any discount that you have, please, please, please be sure to test. So let's do that right now. Let's go back and we're going to click Register Today. And we're going to do Amber Smith again. And let's go to our cart. And now let's put in all lowercase because we accounted for it. And there we are. Perfect. So now we have a discount code that we can offer users. We can offer this, to just a few users via email. We can utilize this in an advertisement, whatever you guys would like to do. This is a great way to sort of incentivize and really get people's blood fired up and make sure that they're all registering as fast as they can because they want to put that code in. That is everything that you need for discount codes. We talked a little bit about the different variations that you have available to you. If there's a variation you would like to introduce into your system and you're not quite certain how to, you are absolutely more than welcome to reach out to us at support@uplifterinc.com at absolutely any time. We're always here and ready to help you out, and we can definitely make sure that your discount functions and fires exactly when and how you would like. That is everything from me. Jackie, would you like to add anything at all?
I'm completely fired up.
Yeah, you got that blood pumping. I know, maybe oversold it. That's fine.
As you can see, we do have quite a bit of flexibility to be able to handle a whole bunch of different discount scenarios, and Garrett has just walked us through one of those scenarios. As clubs are starting to open up across the nation, as restrictions are being lifted, I can understand how discounts might be a way to incentivize participation and registration in some of your programs. So this is a great way to do so, and using this discount code allows you to offer those discounts, but also limit the usage of them in a particular way so that you're also finding ways to save money as a club, as it were. So thank you again for joining us. As Garrett had mentioned, support@uplifterinc.com if you have any questions about any of these issues or implementations. And we will see you again next week on Feature Friday. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.